Dudley, I've known you long enough to know you don't like giving people lists of things to do. And I think that's for good reason. But for a young man, maybe not even married, no kids yet, there, at least it seems to me in America today, there's a lot of confusion about what should my day look like? What should my life look like? What rhythms? We've talked a lot about rhythms here in this setting before. What should those rhythms practically look like? So again, I'm not expecting you to give me a list of 5 things. Okay, when you wake up, do these 5 things every day and life's going to be good. I'm not looking for a formula. But young men and 35-year-old men and beyond need to be coached and given some kind of practical framework. Again, goal-oriented, I agree. We've talked about that before, but what should they be doing? I've seen some stuff on YouTube lately where some prominent masculine figures are telling young men, do this. Wake up and do this. All your buddies are off doing this. Don't do that thing. Do these things.
Yeah.
What should I be doing as a man?
Yeah. Well, you're right. I don't think a list for list's sake makes you more conscious of the regulation than of the life that's involved.
Mm-hmm.
But a list can be helpful.
Yes.
As a memory jogger and as a organizer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not against that. You know, Sam, I think the best way at this age, looking back, I think the best times that I've had success with my own children and others is to try to get across to them where the Bible starts, and that is, the Bible started with God giving Adam and Eve a garden and saying, take care of it.
Yeah.
So at every stage in life, you need to identify your garden.
Okay.
All right, so we got a little kid, like you got a little kid. Now, her only garden is some toys and some stuff that she's got. She needs to be given some guidance in how do I take care of my garden.
Right.
And the responsibility, if you don't put up your toys, you don't get to play with them tomorrow.
Right. Yep.
You know, so you're teaching her to take care of her garden.
Yep.
Well, her garden's pretty small. It's about her and her toys.
Mm-hmm.
Well, later it's going to be her room shared with her brother, sister, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, so at any stage in life, I think the first thing we need to do is get a young man, young woman to say, what's your garden?
Identify the garden.
Identify the garden. All right, the garden's my body.
Mm-hmm.
What I want to do with this body, what I want it to look like. Now, I mean, you have no concept of this, but when I was a boy, the comic books in the back had an advertisement by Charles Atlas.
Okay.
And you could order off after these weights and this book and stuff, so that when you
could
went
look like the comic guys.
so that when you went to the beach, they didn't kick dirt in your face. Do you want to be the guy kicking dirt or the guy getting dirt kicked in your face?
Okay.
And so the motivation there was work out with these.
Yeah.
I got a set of those.
Did you really?
Yeah. So the point is, if you want your body to look different, you're going to have to make some choices.
Yeah.
You can't eat chips all day
Right.
and then expect that you're going to be strong and healthy. And you got not choices just about what you eat, but choices about your exercise.
Yep.
So I would say to some boys who, they're frustrated about what it's like, join a gym.
Mm-hmm.
Or go to a gym. There's gyms you don't have to join. You don't cost you any money. Just go do it.
Yep.
Or you're interested in really getting some discipline, take martial arts.
Yeah.
But the first thing I'm going to do before we spend any money on your martial arts, or we buy you any more stuff to work with, I'm going to go look and see if you made up your bed.
Yeah.
If you're not making up your bed, you're not even doing first things.
Yeah.
Did you brush your teeth?
Yep.
Are you using deodorant? I mean, come on.
Yep.
And so, yeah. And so, do you want your brain to be mush? Well, keep watching the screen all day.
Right.
But would you like to have an intelligent conversation with an intelligent woman at some point in your life?
Yeah.
That can think beyond, TV sitcoms? Then read a book.
Yep.
and ask somebody that you respect, what are the great books in your life? And then take a look and go get them and read the cotton picking thing. And if you can't read, get somebody to read them to you until you can read.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we're living in such a permissive society that nobody gives anybody instructions, and instructions are helpful.
Right. That's why I'm asking this question. I'm telling you, man, this is not a complaint about 2023, but I'm really fascinated by the tone of modern culture today. There's it's no surprise that masculinity and men are under attack, and there's lots of questions about what does it mean to be a man. We've talked about that here. But sadly, I think men do need to be told, this is what you do. If you are a man and you know that you want, to your point, to have an intelligent conversation with a young lady one day and marry her and build a family and a life together, Christian or non, these are some things that you ought to do. Maybe your daddy never told you to do this. Maybe you don't have a daddy. Speaking to that directly at that seemingly simple level, I think can be really, really valuable for some men. So we identify the garden. Oftentimes the garden starts with our own physical body, maybe our own bedroom and our own hygiene, the stewardship of our mind and reading some books. What next? So I've got a job, let's say. I've got a vehicle. I've got an apartment or a home. What do I do? When I get off of work, what does that look like? What do I do?
One of the things we need, where there needs to be instruction and boundaries, is like, who do you hang with?
Yeah.
Because your friends are going to be the greatest influencers in your life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, at LE sometimes we'll ask guys, what's the most important decision you'll ever make? And they always say, trust in God, which is true.
Yeah.
Okay, let's say we got that out of the way. Now what's the greatest decision you're going to make? They always say this, who's your wife? No. That's not the next most important. It's who's your friends.
Yep.
Because probably your wife is going to come out of that group of friends.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So friends influence us, and we influence others. So I would say to guys, you need to give as much attention and serious thought to who your friends are as anything else in your life. Especially if you're thinking about what you wear. Are you in style? Are you wearing the coolest thing? Think about your friends a little bit higher than that.
That's good.
And so that's a part of your garden. It's a big part of your garden.
That's
it affects you big time.
Mm-hmm.
And then, what are your gifts, and how do you develop those so that you are being a good steward of them? Mm-hmm. So many guys want to be an NBA star, but they're not going to be an NBA star. So you can ease up on that.
Yeah.
So what are your gifts?
Yeah.
You're 5'6". You ain't gonna be an NBA star.
Yeah.
What are your gifts? Work on those.
Yeah.
You love music, then don't just learn to strum, learn to play.
Yeah. Right.
And that's a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
But it pays off.
Mm-hmm.
So keeping in mind that all of these lists, all of these things are goal oriented.
Yeah.
Where do you want to go with that?
Yeah.
What's going to happen to your mind if you don't? What's going to happen to your body? What's going to happen to you and your friends? What's going to happen to your gifts? Like for me, we lived out in the country, and we had a piano in the house, and my sisters played, and so I was going to take music lessons. Mm-hmm. But I was also playing Little League football. And we were 10 miles out of town, and my dad's a farmer, and he didn't have time to take me to town. So finally they said, you got to make a choice. You can either play football or play the piano. Well, you guess what I did?
Football.
Yeah. And it got me a college scholarship, but I'd give anything today if I knew how to play the piano.
Really?
Yeah. You can do that the rest of your life.
That's right.
I love music,
Mm-hmm.
but I am so ill-trained in it that I just have to depend upon other people's skills to bring me joy. But wouldn't it be fun to be able to go and sit down at the piano and play out your feelings?
Yeah. Yeah, it would be.
I'm going to get to do that in the new heaven.
Are you? That's good. A couple examples of goals then. So you want to make goal-oriented decisions in your own building of these lists of what you should do every day. What are some highlight goals that you recommend young men would be fixed on?
Well, I think money is always an issue, and so starting early on of thinking about how do I handle my money.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if mom, dad's taking care of the basics and you getting money for whatever, you should go ahead and think through how much of it should I. Some of it you should give away. You should give to the kingdom of God.
Mm-hmm.
Some of it you should save.
Yeah.
Even if you're making $5 a week,
Mm-hmm.
save a nickel,
Yep.
whatever you have to. And then investing.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You can't buy a big stock portfolio, but you can invest somewhere.
Give, save, and invest.
Yeah.
You have a recommended starting block for that for people? Like how much of my income should I give, save, and invest regularly?
Well, I tell you what I did, because I grew up, in a church that really harped on the tithe a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I honestly grew up thinking if I didn't tithe, God would break my legs.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't believe that anymore. But I do believe that the concept of giving 10% is a good it's a good place to start.
Good starting point. Yep.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to be cursed if you don't.
Yeah.
And you're not winning God. Not going to make God love you more if you do. But it's a good place. Same way with savings.
Yeah.
I ought to save at least 10%.
Yeah.
And then investing, I didn't have much of a place to invest except to just a savings account.
Mm-hmm.
Which,
sure.
But so I did that, and there's something good about watching that grow. I mean, it used to grow because you could get several percentage,
Mm-hmm.
and then prioritize how I'm going to spend it.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's, one of the things that really bothered me back in the 70s when I was in seminary and pastoring a church, the Jesus movement hit, and Hal Lindsey's book had just come out about we're the terminal generation, Jesus is going to come back in this generation. And I just remember dealing with kids who would not learn how to handle their money.
Mm-hmm.
They did not know they wouldn't take care of their bodies. They were not planning for marriage. They were having sex, but they weren't planning for marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And it was all because they believed that life's going to be over soon.
Yeah.
So why plan for the future?
Yep.
So I don't think that's healthy. I think we ought to plan to be here for a long time.
Yeah.
And if Jesus shortens it, we're not going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
I mean, I promise you, if Jesus shows up and says, I've come to get y'all, I'm not going to go, hey, I got a savings account and I want to see it fulfilled.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel it's foolish. But I'm just saying, teaching people to live with the long view in mind. And of course, when you're 13, 15, 17, the long view is not as long as you have one now and I have one now. But at least you're starting to think that way.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, so money would be a category.
Yeah.
It's good. I like that.
Sexuality is a category. It's like, okay, God made sex, and that was one of His better days.
Amen.
Better thought. But it's a wonderful gift, and it's wonderful. So how's it to be managed? And so how does pornography fit into that? And how does the sexual revolution fit into it? To be able to think through it and say, what do you really want?
Yeah.
I mean, what do you really want, and are you willing to head in that direction?
Yeah. Cool. Good recommendations. I like it. Hey, Sam here with Kerygma Ventures. Listen, we're so glad that you've been enjoying the content we've been providing here on YouTube, Instagram, podcasts, wherever you consume podcasts. Many of you may know, some of you may not know, we provide all of the video and audio content that we do for free so that we never have to charge for it. Somebody like you can access it anytime free of charge. The reason we're able to do that is because people like you who have been blessed by the content or encouraged by it or transformed by the message of the gospel that you've heard from Kerygma Ventures have said, you know what? I want to participate financially with what's going on there. So I'm asking you right now, as humbly and honestly as I can, will you join us by being a monthly supporter, an investor in what we're doing here at Kerygma Ventures? We're incredibly grateful for those of you who are already joined with us in that work, and we'd love for more of you to join us if God puts that on your heart. So I'm inviting you now to do that. Hope you continue to enjoy the content. Thanks.